This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's April 10th, 2023. Today's podcast is 19 stories we're following this morning. Again, you could also follow us on LinkedIn. If you want the periodic newsletter we send out, you could text me or email me to get that. But this is 19 stories we're following this morning. One, the markets are set to open down this morning. They're already doing that. A story about how the jobs report wasn't as bad as maybe hoped for. And I know that's counterintuitive, but that's like it leave the Fed to keep on raising rates, and rate hikes are basically bad for the stock market. Second, cannabis stocks continue to struggle. They're down 20% year to date and down 66% over the last 52 weeks. So cannabis stocks really struggling. Third, Bitcoin, in contrast to cannabis, is up 72% year to date. Yes, it's still down 33% over the last 52 weeks, but what a great run it's had so far this year. It opens about 28,500 a day or so. Fourth, oil is up to about $80 a barrel, $81 a barrel, up a few percent this year. Fifth, Apple is up 26.5 or 26.7% year to date, but there is a great question about tech earnings coming forward. Plus, PC shipments, personal computer shipments, are way down this year. Apple's are down the worst, but again, Apple doesn't live or die with PC shipments. It really lives and dies with its ecosystem and iPhone and so forth. Sixth, Microsoft up 22% year to date. Seventh, Amazon up 21.5% year to date. The importance of Microsoft and Amazon, not just that they're the second largest cap companies in the country, or second and fourth, but that they've got these great cloud businesses that people increasingly think will be very strong and continue to be very strong, even if they're not as profitable as they were to start with. Eighth, the bank stocks, JP Morgan down about 5% year to date, BofA down about 16% year to date. But again, these banks are doing better than most of the other banks. The Barron's projects a coming wave of bank mergers. Ninth, Bed Bath & Beyond down about 90% year to date, the sad fall of one of the U.S.'s great franchises. 10th, the 10-year Treasury opens about 3.3%. This is down nearly 50 basis points year to date. It's really fallen a great deal. 11th, unemployment remains low at about 3.5%. This may give the Fed more courage to keep raising rates. 12th, the U.S. added 226 non-farm jobs last month, slightly less than anticipated, but certainly not a big fall off. 13th, thousands of doctors in England plan to walk off the job again in a strike. The world shortage of nurses, doctors, clinicians is a daunting problem. This really deserves its own post and its own podcast. In the U.S., 303 million people, aging and growing. About 1 million doctors, 1,060,000 doctors. We add about 15 to 20,000 new doctors a year, just not nearly enough to take care of our population. Really a debacle. 14th, the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. I'm thrilled to see it was ranked 14th yesterday out of all Apple Business News podcasts. 15th, increasingly analysts are sounding the alarm regarding the commercial real estate market. We'll see how that goes. 16th, one of the things that we're following, which is fascinating, there's another article about this in the Wall Street Journal today, is these new diet drugs that are supposed to be game changers. They were originally made for people with diabetes, but they're going to become pretty widely available, it seems. Like Eli Lilly is trying to get theirs approved for anybody for dieting. And there's great concerns that this will sort of, the concern on the one hand is that this will change up or disrupt the diet industry. The positive of this is, as a nation, if we lost 5 to 10 pounds each, this would have dramatically positive impacts on healthcare costs, because so many diseases are related to obesity and overeating and dietary problems. 17th, Tesla's again cutting prices. Its stock is up 50% year to date, but down a little bit more recently. 18th, listen to all of our podcasts, either the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast, the Becker Business Minute Podcast, or for healthcare, the Becker's Healthcare Podcast. We're always looking for ideas for great guests. Finally, we just finished this book, The $1 Billion Loser, The Epic Rise and Fall of Adam Neumann and WeWork. Truly a fascinating story of their growth and then their falling apart. Their stories about absolute power corrupts and so forth, the old statement. There's a lot of that in the book, but just fascinating. Thank you for listening today to the 19 stories we're following today on April 10th. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.